Good morning. Welcome to our opening convocation. The 166th session of Rhodes College has officially begun. Our stirring processional music this morning was provided by our piper, Dr. Bruce Erskine, and the Greg Luscombe Brass Ensemble. Please join me in thanking them. Leading our faculty procession today was a senior member of the Rhodes faculty and bearer of the Rhodes Mace, Dr. David Jeter, who joined the Rhodes faculty in 1973. Please join me in thanking him for his service. To begin our program, I'd like to call upon Justin Tolliver, a senior international studies major from Canton, Georgia, and a captain of our Lynx football team, to offer today's invocation.
Good morning. For our invocation today, I'm reading the Rhodes Prayer, which was written by Dr. Paul Tudor Jones, a member of the class of 1932. Please bow your heads and pray with me. We give thanks, O God, for the kind providence that has brought us to this campus, surrounded us with the strong serenity of its beauty in stone and slate and tree, linked our lives with steadfast friends and trustworthy mentors, and leads us on toward the higher reaches of the human mind and spirit. May we always treasure the tradition of sound learning and humanitarian service into which we have been called at Rhodes. And grant to us, O God, the grace to continue in the larger life beyond this campus, to which thy providence is ever calling to bring honor and glory to thy great name. Amen.
A very special greeting today to the class of 2018. You come to us from the most interesting places, from all across our country and all around our globe. A very special welcome today to our international students who've traveled from 15 different countries, including Australia, Cambodia, China, Croatia, Ethiopia, Finland, Germany, Guatemala, India, Ireland, Jamaica, Mexico, Turkmenistan, and the United Kingdom. Each of you entering Rhodes today bring remarkable personal stories and accomplishments that highlight your gifts and academic achievements. From exceptional academic achievement to extraordinary service to humanity, members of the class of 2018 have had some amazing experiences, including interning with the London Chamber Orchestra, serving as a researcher at the Scripps Research Institute, mastering 7 languages, being forced to flee your home country, earning a pilot's license, competing for a national debate championship, starting a bakery to support homeless ministries, and conducting research at Johns Hopkins Medical School. We're excited about all the experiences and talents you bring to Rhodes. You join our community at a time when we have more to offer than ever before to help you become your very best. On Monday, we welcomed 21 new members to our faculty. They join a faculty of scholars who are committed first and foremost to your success. If our new faculty would please stand, we'd like to officially welcome you. Class of 2018, you're a class with as much promise as any in this distinguished college's history. You will succeed. You will reach your potential as you take full advantage of the extraordinary teaching and mentoring our faculty provide. Take full advantage of all this college has to offer, especially the opportunity to connect with some of America's most talented teachers. We expect great things from you. Would the members of the class of 2018 please stand so we may recognize you? Our entering class did not journey here on their own. We're delighted so many family members could be with us today. Thank you for the support you've provided your student. This is a proud moment for you. It is a proud moment for Rhodes. Would our class of 2018 family members please stand? We also welcome today members of our Board of Trustees and retired faculty. We value so much their devotion to our college. Would our trustees, former trustees, and retired faculty and staff please stand to be recognized? At this time, I would like to introduce Shelley Chowdhury, President of the Rhodes Student Government. A senior neuroscience major from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Shelley also serves as a student representative on the Rhodes College Board of Trustees. Shelley?
Thank you, President Trout. Wow. Class of 2018, here you are. I think I speak for every member of the Rhodes community when I say that we are so incredibly happy you all are finally here. When I thought about standing in front of you all, I felt a little intimidated at the thought of my words being evaluated by students as talented and intelligent as all of you all. As we've heard from President Trout, this class has done some amazing things already. So I decided that I would let someone infinitely more inspiring and influential help me with my words. I looked to former President Deal, the biggest, quite literally, if you've seen a statue, and by far most quoted man on campus. If you don't know already, President Deal was the amazing man with the audacity and gumption to uproot the then Southwestern College to Memphis in 1925. President Deal once stated, genuineness is a characteristic of the heart of this institution. And we wanted this note sounded everywhere. It was to be enduring, for we were building for generations to come. It was to be genuine throughout. So, class of 2018, let's talk about genuineness. That is your key to an unforgettable 4 years here. This is the best time and place in the world to be the very best version of your very best self. This is the time to explore and be open to changing your mind about anything and everything. Remember that you are malleable and let your experiences mold who you are and who you want to be. Remember that Rhodes is an accepting place, and we want people to be comfortable in their own skin here. Remember genuineness, because genuine people are the ones that shape this campus and the ones that shape the world. I'm going to break my second Deal quote into pieces. English professors, please excuse the lack of detail in this complex sentence analysis. On the subject of the college's move to Memphis, Deal stated the following: "Here was the chance of a lifetime. We had the opportunity to build an institution from the ground up, to make it efficient, to follow a chosen style of architecture, to have a harmonious unity." Now, there's a lot in those few words that I believe apply to you all sitting here today. Deal starts with, "Here was the chance of a lifetime," and that is exactly what is before you. You have 194 weeks before you graduate. Make them count. I know it seems like forever, but each college graduate sitting in the audience today can tell you just how quickly those weeks will fly by. Make the most of your time, because never in your life will you have the options you have now. You will have the chance to study what interests you in depth and in stimulating ways. The chance to freely enjoy friends, food, and this incredible city. The chance to explore types of volunteering opportunities you never knew existed. The chance to try your career out a few times and get real-world experience. And finally, the chance to become a part of this amazing, growing community. So take this chance of a lifetime, and try your best to make every bit of it count. Next, he says, the opportunity to build an institution from the ground up. That is exactly the opportunity you have starting today. You have the opportunity to build yourself from the ground up. This is a new beginning, so start over if you want. Try new things and be open to letting Rhodes change you. Because here, no one is stopping you from building yourself to be exactly who you want to be. The last phrase I want to pull from President Deal is the phrase, harmonious unity. This kind of wording brings me back to my first-year religious studies classes. Words that are so vague they can mean just about anything can be infuriating. However, the beauty of this phrase is in the interpretation. To me, harmonious unity undoubtedly means the Rhodes community. The respect and the care I have for this institution and the people inside it, as well as the mutual respect I feel back every day. So even as you come into yourself these next 4 years, don't do it on the sidelines. Involve your friends, your professors, your advisor, and yes, even your parents. Become a part of this place and let it become a part of you. A harmonious unity. Make that mean something. So class of 2018, I have one more piece of advice, and this one is all my own. Do what you dream. Do what you dream. This is not a place that is going to stop you from standing at this podium if you're only 5 feet tall. This is the place that ensures that you have a pedestal and a group of people to help you practice your speech. Do what you dream. Here, you will have the courage and confidence and practice you need to face the real world in 4 years. And when that happens, I am confident that every one of you will face the future with open hearts, open minds, and a world full of possibilities before you. Thank you, class of 2018, and welcome to Rhodes.
Thank you, Shelley, for your very thoughtful counsel. It is my privilege now to introduce our interim dean of the faculty and vice president for academic affairs, Dr. Milton Moreland. A gifted scholar, teacher, and mentor, he brings to all his work a passion for the liberal arts. A professor of religious studies, Dr. Moreland was the 2012 recipient of the Jameson M. Jones Award for faculty service. He has served as director of our Memphis Center, director of our archaeology program, and coordinator of the Rhodes Institute for Regional Studies. We're so fortunate to have him leading our faculty as we begin this academic year. Please join me in welcoming Dean Milton Moreland.
It is terrific to be with you this morning. Welcome to Rhodes. We're going to have 4 fun, exciting, somewhat entertaining, and very educational years together. So let's get rolling. I am pleased to announce this year's recipient of the Jameson M. Jones Award for Outstanding Faculty Service. This award is named for Dr. Jameson Jones, a member of the Rhodes class of 1936. He was inspired by the education he received at the college, describing his professors as magicians who, by enlightening the mind, give birth to the spirit. Their example led him to become a philosophy professor and Dr. Jones returned to Rhodes in 1955 to become a member of the faculty here. He also served as the college's chief academic officer for more than 15 years. This award is intended to honor a member of the faculty who has established an outstanding record of service to the college. Quickly, I want to acknowledge, although he's not here this morning, Dr. John Gladney of Shreveport, Louisiana, a member of the class of 1974 and former trustee of the college, who generously endowed the Jameson M. Jones Award to show his support for the work of the faculty and to honor Dr. Jones. I also want to acknowledge Sally Jones-Hines, who's with us today. She's the daughter of Dr. Jones and herself an alumna of the college. Welcome, Sally. Today's recipient of the Jameson M. Jones Award for Outstanding Faculty Service has embraced the spirit envisioned by Dr. Jones. The letters of nomination I received spoke eloquently about his important service to our community. I would like to invite Professor John Planchin to join me at the podium. Your left hand. Nomination letters for Professor Planchin set forth a record of 28 years of outstanding service. A colleague notes that he has worked sacrificially for the advancement of the college's mission and the betterment of students individually and as a whole. Professor Planchin joined the Rhodes faculty in 1986. His major interests lie in strategic marketing, cross-cultural marketing strategies, and the study of consumer information acquisition and processing. He is actively involved in strategic marketing consultation and is the author of many scholarly research articles. In an unprecedented array of roles at the college, Professor Planchin has served as, let me get this all right, it's a long list, Dean of Academic Affairs, Associate Dean, Director of the Meeman Center, Department Chair for over 12 years, the Chair of numerous faculty committees, and the Director of a highly successful study abroad program. This study abroad program for our students to study in Belgium and France came about as the direct result of his long-term relationship with dozens of important contacts in those countries. In the past 9 years, over 260 students have participated in the program, which fills to capacity within days or even hours of when it's advertised. Uniquely combining business and the liberal arts, the program teaches business cases within the context of historical and cultural elements. The program revolves around two linked courses, a case-based international business course and a religion in the Low Countries course taught by Professor Emeritus Dr. Gail Street. The creative combination of these two courses in a European setting provides our students with a unique integration of business, religious studies, and cultural information presented in diverse locations in Belgium and France. That is the idea of the liberal arts coming to life right there. His nominators note that the program's success is due to the fact that it is well administered, it is well taught, the subject matter is relevant, and students are engaged. Another colleague noted that this has been an enormously popular and unique program and a valuable experience for our graduates. It will always distinguish their Rhodes education from any other. Professor Planchin's impact on the Rhodes educational program is undeniable. As chair of his department, he shepherded the MS in accounting program through its approval and accreditation. He also helped institute and supervise a New York trip for business students, arranging for students to meet with Rhodes alumni and other contacts in New York. Professor Planchin is committed to the ideal of a liberal arts approach to teaching business. Towards this end, he has established several upper division case-based courses which enhance students' critical thinking and writing skills, including the team-taught business senior seminar, which he has directed for just 20 years. He values the consistency between case-based education, business education, and our liberal arts curriculum. In other areas of service, John's work is also noteworthy. He has served 3 terms on the Tenure and Promotion Committee, and most recently he served as chair of the Standards and Standing Committee, earning his colleagues high praise for bringing together diverse perspectives with the unifying goal of equity for all students. With this award, Professor Planchin joins a distinguished group of faculty who have demonstrated through their outstanding records of service that they embody the kind of intellectual leadership and commitment to service that were so important to Dr. Jones. Please join me in congratulating Professor John Planchin. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce this year's Convocation speaker, Professor Teresa Beckham-Graham. Professor Beckham-Graham joined the Rhodes faculty in the Department of Economics in 1999. She's the director of the program in political economy. Her teaching and research interests include international trade and development economics. Professor Beckham-Graham is known across campus as a rigorous, demanding, caring, and transformative teacher. She's one of the most sought-after professors at Rhodes. She is a tirelessly enthusiastic teacher of economics. Her courses are models of clarity and organization. She is a challenging professor, no doubt, many of you will find out, who demands excellence from her students, and yet she is highly praised as being caring. Professor Beckham-Graham excels as both a scholar and teacher. As a result of her achievements, she was the 2014 recipient of the Clarence Day Awards for Outstanding Teaching at the college. That is our highest faculty honor in the area of teaching. I am delighted that she has accepted the invitation to deliver the college's opening convocation address. Please join me in welcoming Professor Teresa Beckham-Graham.
Thank you. Well, without turning this into an economics lecture, let me explain briefly the concept of comparative advantage. It's the idea that encompasses the sense that we all have a unique mix of strengths and weaknesses, and so in our goals in life, we need to determine what we're relatively good at, given this mix of strengths and weaknesses, and then specialize in that area, and then through sharing, exchanging the fruits of our specialization with others, we all mutually gain. Faced with this public speaking opportunity, I've spent most of the summer contemplating deeply the comparative advantages I don't have. The professors that have stood here in past years have amazed me with their eloquence, their humor, their ability to inspire, their artistry. I'm an economist. My idea of eloquence is using 3 colors on my graphs in class, and my idea of artistry is using 3 interesting colors in my graphs during lecture. As for humor, my students have actually encouraged me not to tell jokes. Apparently, I lack all comedic timing. So I've also spent the summer then thinking, well, what does that leave? What is my comparative advantage? And I will now tell you, it is a sort of low-stakes, short-term version of what you're going to spend the next 4 years doing. What am I relatively good at? I have concluded that my comparative advantage is brevity. Which is good news for you, given my lack of eloquence, artistry, or humor. So what I'm going to talk about very briefly today is why the liberal arts are so great. Now, this is a topic, I think it lends itself to brevity, in part because it's not something you're really going to understand until you experience it, until you practice it yourself at least a bit. But it's good to know what to look for. I went to a college very like Rhodes, but when I matriculated, I really didn't know what the liberal arts were, and nobody really explained it during the entire 4 years I was there. And then I graduated and went off to get my PhD in economics, which is the antithesis of liberal arts in its sort of narrow focus on technical skills applied to a narrow field. It wasn't until I was thinking about, well, where do I want to teach afterwards that I really gave thought to, well, what the liberal arts meant and why I thought they were important. So the idea of a liberal arts education is based in classical antiquity. And in fact, the name in liberal arts comes from the root in Latin liber, which means free, because it was the type of education they deemed necessary for free citizens, as opposed to slaves. So, what does a free individual need in an education? They need the tools to make informed, correct decisions as engaged citizens for the betterment of their society and for their country. And as free citizens, for us today, now, means we the people, which should negate any idea that this should be an elitist endeavor. We all can benefit from the liberal arts. So, more accurately, I need you to think about what you're going to be doing for the next 4 years as learning for freedom. And with it comes a fundamental recognition that with freedom comes responsibility for civic engagement. All right? So how will the liberal arts prepare you for this freedom and its responsibilities? For the next 4 years, we are going to teach you how little you know. But not with this idea that we will now bestow upon you all of this vast knowledge that you're lacking. Now, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to leave here knowing a lot more than you did when you arrived. But it's going to be training in problem solving, creative problem solving, critical thinking, communication. There's not a specific canon of knowledge that free citizens need. The way I think about a liberal arts education is that, well, you're going to be sitting in 4 classes in a few days, and each class, each course is like a narrow beam of light. Some of them are really narrow and reach really far, and others are a little broader and don't reach quite as far. But as you sit in this biology class on animal behavior, in the economics class on international trade, in your African American literature course, and in your art and architecture of ancient Egypt, okay, what it becomes up to you to do is extrapolate from these beams of light the entire universe of knowledge that is out there and come to terms with how little of it you can ever know. At some point in every one of these 4 classes, usually right before a term paper is due or right before midterm exams, you're going to wail to your roommate, "Why do I have to learn this? When will I ever use this?" And as much as it pains me to acknowledge that my students, when they leave my international trade class, will never again draw the general equilibrium trade model in 4 colors to express their understanding of the gains from specialization in trade, their lives will not be any poorer for not ever using it again. That in fact, the true benefit of this liberal arts education is to learn that this knowledge exists. And if it exists and is applicable in this course, well then it must be in all these other fields out there that I have yet to learn about. And here's the really great part about a liberal arts education, you learn that all of these courses are interconnected. All of this knowledge is interconnected. We, your professors, we embrace the liberal arts. I teach economics because I think it's got something vital to teach us as we try to understand the world around us. But I also recognize that without ethics, without science, without art, history, politics, you can't understand it. You can't understand economics, and you can't understand the world around you. So we know there are connections between our fields. We know what a lot of those connections are. We don't know all of them. I'm a product of a liberal arts education, but I took general biology. I did not take animal behavior. So I'm relying on you to come into my class when I'm in the Econ 100 teaching about the behavior of Homo economicus, for you to say, well, you know, I learned in my other class. Or for you to come into my development economics class where we're learning about poverty in Africa, and you raise your hand and you say, "Hey, professor, that reminds me of something I learned yesterday in my British literature course." And those are the moments your professors live for, right? Because that's when we know you get it. Not just you get this lovely model in development economics, but that you get the liberal arts and the strength that that gives to you in your learning. So, why does knowing that there is a vast universe of interconnected knowledge that you'll never be able to learn all of make you a better citizen of this country, of this world? There is nothing worse than someone who doesn't know how little they know, right? And you can watch the news from across the world or from much closer to home, and see that there's nothing more dangerous than a small, closed-minded individual who thinks he or she has all the answers because they perceive their own expertise along some narrow beam, without knowledge or acknowledging this greater universe that's out there. Now, I'm not saying don't become an expert in a field, but I'm saying that through the liberal arts, we recognize, we become comfortable with and embrace our need for working together to solve problems and address issues. But to be the person that leads that effort, you've got to know what's out there. With the liberal arts, we learn what we don't know. We learn that those frontiers of understanding, whether it's an intellectual concept or another culture or just another individual, are not something that we need to fear. They become less a threat and more an opportunity, and in fact, a responsibility and an obligation to understand. In a world of constant, rapid change, an education in a specific skill set is going to be outdated in no time at all. But in education, learning to be a critical thinker who recognizes the interconnectedness of knowledge and humanity is going to give you skills that will never be outmoded. The person who can value and harness the strengths of the statistician and the writer and the scientist and the artist and the ethicist. That's the person who's going to be able to lead us to greatness. So, embrace the joy of learning. You have an amazing 4 years ahead of you, and we are so excited to be sharing it with you. Thank you very much.
We thank you, Professor Graham, for your very thoughtful message about the purpose and the power of the liberal arts. And thank you for all you do for your students and your colleagues. Following our program today, families may gather in front of the Bryan Campus Life Center for their goodbyes. We look forward to seeing many of you again on Parents' Weekend. To conclude our program today, Dr. Bill Skoob, Chair of the Department of Music and Choral Studies, will come forward with members of the Rhodes Singers and Master Singers to lead us in our alma mater. Please stand if you're able and remain standing for the benediction by Chaplain Walt Tennyson and our recessional. Thank you.
It is time. One small step, one giant leap. Time to share your story with the world. Time to be stretched by things you never heard before. Time to go beyond what anyone ever expected of you. Now is the time to realize you could be. A rare time to choose to be someone new. And it is the time, now, to forgive and forget, to tear down a wall, time to grow up, time to be young all over again, time to open, time to close. Now is the time you have waited for. Now is the time you worked for. So as you all go from this moment, embrace all that got you here. Celebrate the larger family that you have joined. This is your time. In small steps and great leaps, let us go from this time into the wonder that lies ahead.